Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Great things, when I say little, it's just don't let size really matter. Oh, yes, it kind of, people say, who cares about all that?
Right.
Let them make that difference. The other stuff, hey, all I want to say, Craft, get that out your mouth. Get that out your mouth. But R&B is that company for you. Okay? Please give them a call, go to my website, and you never know. I might just answer the phone. And I gotta get back to my man.
Yes, sir.
That's in the building with me tonight. Craftmatic in the building. How you doing, big baby?
Man, I'm doing fabuloso,
like
right? Life just don't get no better than it's been this month. Man, I'm telling you, I'm just laser focused. I'm accomplishing so much. I got, I got my goals already in line for the first 3 months of the year, which means I cannot miss the mark as long as I follow through, you know?
Right.
So plan is coming together. I feel amazing, man. I'm doing so much with my health this month. In fact, this month is my health month. I decided that January I was going to focus completely on my health.
Right.
And I'm on a new workout program.
Oh,
I got all my vision appointments set up for my major vision piece. I got my physical set up. I got my dental appointment set up. So I'm taking care of all those in the first quarter of the year. And man, I'm just right on track.
It sounds like
just
you
feeling
laser
good.
focused, man.
Man, I am laser focused, probably more than I have been in a long time. I won't say ever been, but it feels good to accomplish, man. Every day I come out of a day, every single day I come out of the day with an accomplishment, you know. And I'm celebrating those accomplishments. Remember we talked about that a few shows ago.
Right.
Just doing fabulous, man. How you doing tonight, bro?
Man, I'm doing great, man. But I'm just listening to you. I'm like, man, I ain't did none of that.
Well, we got to get you on point, Smooth Jay.
Man, it's so much has happened business-wise that a lot of, when I look at some of the stuff you talking about, I got to get back to it. I'm just as important as all the things I run.
Right.
So I'm sitting there like, ooh, I should have been back in the gym. Ooh, didn't run like I should. Yeah. Some more things on my list I really need to tackle first.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you bringing it to the forefront, because a lot of time we always put other things in front of us instead of our health. But ain't that the main engine that drives everything to get us to that?
There we go. Without health, man, we have nothing. And it's not just about physical health. It's about mental health and spiritual health, financial health. We got to stay healthy in all the areas of our life. Folks, I want to just welcome you again to Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
Yes, sir.
And we have come together to bring you a powerful set of ideas that hopefully inspire your life to be your greatest possibility. All we want is to share some dialogue and hope that you grow from it, that you can better understand yourself, you can better understand your current situation, you can make better decisions for your life. There's so much that comes out of these dialogues. It is absolutely amazing. And I think this is the therapeutic. It's like the universal therapy. Because because
I knew you was free.
If you just listen to the show, you're going to start thinking a certain way. You're going to lean to the left, lean to the right on the subject, and you're going to start to find yourself a little bit more. You're going to start to ask more questions about what you can do better for yourself, for the world, and that's what we need in this world. We need something that liberates positivity. You know, and that's what we stand for. So we want to thank you for being here with us tonight. We always have this really fantastic show. We're here till 9 o'clock, so stay tuned, because every segment gets just a little bit better. And you're going to find that we really get underneath the surface of things. We don't just talk about surface things. We like to talk about what's happening underneath, what the emotions are, and what the thought processes are, and how you made the decisions or didn't make the decisions. So let's just go ahead and kick this night off with a prayer. And would you like to pray for us, Jay?
I'm still trying to get him to donate to that Cash App Bar Talk with Jay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead, man. You've been doing a great job, man.
Okay.
Breathe into it.
All right, man. Let's focus on what I was talking about was health. And so, Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for allowing us to come into your presence and to do such a wonderful show as this. We thank you for the vision for this show. We know that you have inspired it. And we just thank you for our audience tonight, and we thank you for being great hosts tonight, Lord. And we allow you to just move some healing into our lives and revealing health in all different ways. And we ask tonight that you would inspire us on ways that we can improve our health, our spiritual and mental health. We thank you that this is just a fun show and that we liberate one another. And we ask all these blessings in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well,
Amen.
all I can say on that note right there, that prayer is so powerful. Only thing I can tell y'all, this is what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to go ahead and go to Cash App. That's right, Cash App. Cash sign Bar Talk with Jay. Okay? And I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now is a special. You Cash App over $100, you get to give what the prayer going to be next week.
Woo.
That's right. We're going to say your prayer
Yeah.
for the first person that's right. Cash Apps me. That's right. Over $100.
Listen, if you give $100, I'll do you a personal prayer.
Ooh, he's
One about your specific needs.
if that person hits in the next 2 hours, I'll be watching them infomercials. The special would be Craftmatic doing it just for you.
Yes.
Everybody after that, good luck.
There you go.
So again, the next $100 going into that Cash App.
Right.
On that one right there. That's the building fund.
Okay.
You like Bar Talk with Jay, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Good luck, baby.
I'm in on
You
it.
in?
Listen, prayer is a great way to liberate yourself. Prayer is a great way to open your day. It's a great way to start a project. It's a great way to introduce some loving ideas into the universe. And so we encourage prayer, and it is my backbone. I mean, I'm nothing without prayer, because I'll go into any situation under the sun with knowing the Lord is going before me, and I have no worries. And I have been living that way for many years. It makes me invincible, the power of prayer and my relationship to God. So I'm encouraging you folks to dig in a little bit. It's time to learn something new in life. And if you don't know how to pray, what prayer is all about, just start doing some studies on your own. God will find you. If you're looking for Him, He knows you're looking for Him, and He's going to show you a way that will bring you into some harmony and peace. Because I live a very, very peaceful life. In fact, I don't play nothing but peace in my life.
How about this one? For the next hour, whoever donates another $100
Okay.
to the Cash App or Bar Talk with Jay, I'll make sure you do that again. Just for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Now, that's two things for you.
Right.
I feel
That's
like
a piece of cake.
Yeah. I know for you, everything's piece of cake.
Yeah, man, I bring some healing in them 3 minutes. 3 minutes apiece. I speak a supernatural rhema word that just magnifies and obliterates anything unlike the power and the presence of God. And I would just go so hard in the paint. Listen, let's keep the show moving there.
I see.
Yeah, man, we can spend all show talking about the Lord, you know. Last week, we talked about how to get over someone and move on with your life.
Ooh.
It is time to say goodbye.
Close that door.
In fact, the quote last week basically insinuated that you have reached a point of no return in a relationship, and it is time to say goodbye. You love them, but that love is not enough for you to stay with them because you can't get along. Maybe they have some issues, mismanagement of money, or no responsibility, or they're just lazy, or they have things that are getting in the way of the relationship, and they may want to change, but they cannot change.
Yeah.
And if you stay with them, you're probably going to lose about 30% of your whole potential in life. That is time to say goodbye. Okay? And the first thing that we talked about, I don't want to steal the show, Jay, but
man, all right, I'm still trying to get that $100.
The one thing I brought up last week was the very first thing that you do when you're breaking up with somebody or when you're about to say goodbye is you have to take yourself back. Because if you have truly been in that relationship, you are pretty much sharing everything, right? You're doing a lot of daily and personal favors for them, whether it be preparing dinner, buying lunch, or picking up the dry cleaners, and now you're going to have to take yourself back and decide that, hey, am I going to invest my time in that way anymore? And once you take yourself back, then you can turn around and you can look ahead. Because what is ahead should begin to steal your attention. You should be figuring out how you're going to move out, where the money's going to come from, how you're going to orchestrate things. You should begin to think about what kind of place you want to live in and how much you can afford for rent. And I mean, you got to make the move. The key is to make a decision and backing the decision with a plan. Because all of that takes your mind off the problem. It takes your mind off the issue, and taking your attention to there allows you to be more laser focused on the future rather than what's going on in the past. So it's just so important that we make these decisions of saying goodbye and keeping people in our lives. Because if we don't, we could wind up spinning our wheels and having people who don't have the same energy as we do, don't have the same zest for life that we do. They'll kind of drag us down. We don't need that.
No, never.
We don't need that. So,
Never.
man, it was just a marvelous show on creating separation. There are a lot of people who stay just because of love. And we all should understand that love is not enough. Right? It should be enough. But there's real life to handle at the same time. And if this person continues to take you down dark roads through their behavior or through their attitude or how they treat you or how they treat your home or your children or whatever the case may be, if they continue to take you down dark roads, then you don't have a choice but to separate. It's a mandate to your personal soul satisfaction that you have to make, and you have to separate. And I think a lot of times, Jay, we didn't talk about this, but I think a lot of times the separation between you and loved ones has nothing to do with you and the loved one. I think the separation is really about God saying, do you think that that is bigger than I am? Do you think that that is going to satisfy you more than I am? Because he's never going to forsake you, but he's going to put you in a position where you have to choose him. Right? You're going to choose him versus being mistreated. You're going to choose him versus allowing your potential to be wasted. You're going to choose him versus dealing with problems and issues and challenges for the next 5, 10, 20 years, knowing that you don't have to. Some of that stuff you just don't have to deal with. And taking yourself back is, I think the foundation of saying goodbye.
Man, you did the long version. Mine, you got to go. Alright? Get on my nerve.
Right.
You talk too much. You make me sick.
Right?
You gotta go.
You gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this,
you need to.
Yeah.
They gotta kick rock,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah. And we talked. One of the first shows of the year, we talked about how we prolong on things. You know what I mean? What's the word we? Yeah, we ponder on things. That this year we want to not ponder, right?
No.
We know we need to make the decision. Just make the decision and drive forward. I promise you, what is ahead of you is far more valuable and far more important, far more loving, far more peaceful than anything that is behind you. And stop pondering and belaboring decisions when it's time to get out. It's time to get out.
Make that
right?
move, baby.
And if somebody's getting out, we didn't talk about this either. Somebody's getting out on you, let them go.
That's right.
let them be. Because I've always had the notion that if you think that the grass is greener over there, then you probably need to be over there, right? And I don't have no problem with you going over there. Matter of fact, I love you so much, I might let you go over there, and I'll even think about bringing you back whenever the time might be right. But you're not gonna have me being decided upon, by
so you gonna go over there and you want to come back.
What you want to do?
That's gonna fly.
Yeah, right. So it was a fabulous show. You can catch it all over the internet. We're on bartalkwithj.com, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, iTunes, Spreaker. This is another great one. I love Spreaker.
And then the Black Planet.
Why you crank me up, man?
Come on, man. You already know Backpages, man. You know what I'm saying? Flirt.
Listen, we are everywhere.
Flickr.
Listen, I've always said now, the genius of being on those medias is that we get exposure.
That's right.
And whether you there's single people on those lines. They need to be hearing this stuff about relationships.
We got a
And
profile on POF.
That's profound marketing and advertising, Jay. That's why you.
Oh yeah,
CEO.
I need all these organizations. Give me a cut on that one.
Yeah,
That's a
why
plug.
you're the CEO of this thing, right?
I endorse that commercial.
I got just a moment to cover something real quick,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna cover our quote for the day.
All right.
So, this is just a little segment to talk about how we build relationships in the world.
Okay.
Okay, that no man is an island unto himself. We have to have people in this world to live life with. That's the way the universe created the world. We live with people. And we can't do anything on our own. We have to lean on our resources and the resources of our friends and family and associates, right? And so the notion here is, how do we draw others into our sphere of influence? How do we draw others into our sphere of influence? I am of the notion that in today's world, that if you don't proactively recruit friends, you're probably not going to have any. And what that means is that you're going to meet somebody who struck a nerve with you. They had something special about them, you know what I mean? And they talked in a certain way. They had a certain business etiquette about them, or they had a certain loving presence about them, or they was giving, and and you could see how they tipped extra to the waiter and the waitress, whatever it happens to be. But you find a good person in the world, take time to call that person, maybe invite them to dinner. Maybe invite that person to dinner. Right? Maybe you decide that, hey, let's go bowling next week. But the point is that I make proactive and intentional time to be with good people.
I got you there.
Rather than wasting my time with people who just kind of show up in my life. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what we do a lot of times. We just kind of meander through life, and the good people who are out around us in our circle, we don't spend quality time with them. I'm saying recruit positive people in your life. When you see them, hold on to them. If nothing more than a text relationship, and you're just saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on this week? Can I help you with anything? Proactively find good people. Be proactive of friendships. Create friendships, right? The notion of by Napoleon Hill is called the mastermind. And the mastermind is just simply bring like-minded people together. And I'm encouraging you folks to build relationships proactively and intentionally. Don't just accept what happens to be in your world, your normal world. There's a guy I know at work, and every time he and I start talking about this, that, and the other, we just bond. It's just like, this is a good dude. I probably can learn a lot from him. We probably can hang out in the same, areas with around the same people. He just, he can introduce me to some people. He and I scheduled a time to go and do a Top Golf, right?
Oh.
So we're going to go and do Top Golf and break bread. Might even come up with some business ideas. Who knows what might come out of it.
I might need to be there, but my golf game ain't
Yeah,
that
man,
strong,
absolutely. The point is, as I'm proactive and intentional with my relationships, and I'm encouraging you folks too. This is the way to live life, and if you don't live it that way, then it's going to be what it is. Right?
Yes, it is time with job.
Now, tonight, we are talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that's really, the title of the subject is, how do we keep the darkness from making us weak and becoming strong again?
Now, it's very powerful. And
Yeah.
That darkness, I like to say, can reflect anybody's problems.
Right.
And what I love about sometimes about the darkness is you be like, well, what is it specifically? It specifically relates back to what is making you or keeping you from being your fullest potential.
Right.
And that darkness can come from a lot of different things. And I'm not going to be the one on this show trying to point them all out.
Yeah,
but this is what we come to the table with. Let's talk about it and to get you past any fears and let you soar to where you need to be.
There you go. Because most of the healing that we need is mental, and let's cover it that way this evening. It is time for us to take our first break, and we are grateful that you folks are with us. Continue to stay tuned. This show just gets off the chain as it gets deeper. So y'all stay with us.
Bar Talk with Jay. Woo! And during the break, y'all never walked. Who came in the building? Who walked in? What? My man, Philly Man, is back.
Uncle Phil.
Man,
In
I've
the
been
house.
gone for a minute and a half back in the building tonight. How you doing, big baby?
Doing alright. What about yourself, Jay?
Man,
Crab?
not bad.
Yeah, man, doing good. Hey, can we turn Phil up just a little bit? I didn't think you talk right into the
Close to the
mic.
mic. Close to the mic.
You got him?
Don't be scared.
Talk right into it, yeah.
What about now? Nope, not yet.
See, you got. If you can't hear yourself in the speakers, then you're not.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right here.
There you go.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
We got him
Jay,
back in
what
here.
up? What up, Jay?
Man, I'm good. I'm good.
got-
How about you, bro?
Hey, you know how it is. One day at a time. Slow motion.
What my other brother always say, pushing and pulling.
Hey.
Pushing
that's
and
all-
pulling.
That's all we can do.
Come
what
on
up,
now.
Crab?
Man, holding on, bro.
I feel you.
Holding on. Actually, I'm doing fabulous, man. Doing fabulous. Life is going really well. Can't say any more than that, man.
Oh, that's good.
Life's going really well. In fact, that is exactly what we are here to talk about tonight. How do we get to being in a place where life is just well? And people are living with darkness in their lives. They're living with troubles and problems and worries and concerns and pains and troubles and all, it's just, people are living with this stuff, right? If we look at the stress index of the United States, it says that people are under great deals of stress and great deals of pressure in life.
Right.
And those dark times oftentimes can shut down people's lives, because they shut down people's ability to enjoy just the day, to enjoy dinner tonight. They shut down people's ability to think about progressing for tomorrow, right? And, they are, these troubled times and these dark times, it's a way of life, right? It's like constantly moving out of the old into the new, out of the old into the new. And the challenge is that we move out of the old into the new, but we take our old problems with us. Right?
That's normal.
Right? So, moving toward the new, most people can do, but they take this heavy load with them from the old to the new. And we are here to say tonight that you're going to continue to be weak if you're carrying old bags, right?
Unnecessary weight.
You're going to be depleted holding on to things that are no longer yours to hold on to.
No longer, no energy.
And, the objective is to be strong again. And being strong again means I'm looking toward what my strength looks like when I get strong again.
Or pushing that dead weight off.
There you go. I'm not looking at how stressful the situation is right now. I'm not looking at the problem. Folks, over the years I've been teaching consciousness and positive thinking, and some people would listen to my language and say that I'm telling you to turn away from the problem. I'm not telling you to turn away from the problem. I'm telling you to resolve the problem in your mind first, right? So that if you have a problem, that I want you to think through 10 things that would happen if the problem was fixed. If the problem was fixed, I want you to contemplate, if the problem was fixed, what would life look like? What would you feel like? How would things be if the problem was already fixed? I'm asking you to turn your attention away from the problem toward the solution. Not turn away from the problem altogether, but turn from the problem to the solution. How do we keep the darkness from making us weak and work toward becoming strong again? We got to see the solution in our mind's eye. And man, it's such a simple thing. I'm reading the book again, The Secret, and what a powerful set of ideas. The whole book is basically saying that there's this mysterious power that we have, that when we start to think about something long enough and we contemplate it with enough power, enough energy, enough frequency, all we got to do is just think about it.
Law of
that it
attraction.
will naturally, automatically just drop in our lap. Imagine living a life where every time you had a problem, you just simply thought about the solution and it happened.
The law of attraction.
The law of attraction. But it's
It also states in the secret that you have to be clear in order for it to work.
yeah.
That means what I'm saying is you have to be able to clear everything. And when I say clear everything, I'm talking about working on your chakras. You have to be able to understand what your chakra is and how to manifest your chakras. Because if you don't, you just read the book. Because you have to be able to read and comprehend. That's part of the secret.
And yeah, that is a part of it. And there's different stages of levels of consciousness, right? So that when he talks about
Forget you,
chakras, people who don't know what the chakras are, that would be an evolutionary learning process to understand chakras.
You just want to
But-
throw some big vocabulary
Yeah, but in its simplicity, what the secret is saying is that I can change my mind and my results will immediately change.
It could just mean your ass crazy as hell. A lot of people think that, when you follow that. Because
Yeah.
if it don't come
That's what they think.
true.
Yeah,
That's why, that's the backside.
But it works. That's the problem. It works.
Right.
Yeah,
when
but
you really
the
believe
thing
it, then you
is
won't be
that-
worried about what they say.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand it, you are shunning.
You will shun it. That's
Yeah,
exactly
You
right.
have to you have to have an open mind to be able to do anything and deal with anything.
I agree.
Just like what Kraft said, when you're dealing with a problem, a lot of people are so caught up in the problem and dealing with emotions within the problem. It's hard for them to be like, okay, let me think 10 steps outside of the problem.
Right.
No, how
Right.
can I do that? I'm in the problem.
I'm in the problem.
How can I think 10 steps outside of the problem when I'm
So,
still
yeah.
emotionally tied, drawn,
To the
and
problem.
exhausted with the problem?
Listen, I gotta eat beanie weenies and crackers tonight, and you want me to think about eating steak and lobster? I'm not interested in playing that game with myself.
Well, first of all,
But
the
listen,
first bite will change your whole thought process. I'm telling you, you can think in your mind, your tongue will be like, listen here, player.
listen, I'm gonna tell you what,
My
man.
emotional strength and fortitude is playing me right now.
Yes, sir. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what happened though after you make it out though. Man, I woke up somehow at 3 or 4 o'clock this morning and I had the snack munchie on me, right? So I went to the refrigerator, I said, what am I gonna eat? I need something tasty and healthy and quick, and all I was just kind of laying it out. Found me and myself making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh,
And let me tell you,
simply beautiful.
I think I enjoy them so much because they kept me during so many hard times. You know what I mean?
Hard
It's got a
times?
flavor there that's just right. Hey, listen, it's
I just got a
got
hope
a
for
flavor. It's got a flavor that reminds me of poverty.
Oh,
but now I
that's
can.
cheaper stuff
I
for that.
ain't with you on that one. Peanut butter jelly don't say
Bro.
That's what it meant to me, bro.
poverty, you got either peanut butter and no jelly, or jelly and no peanut butter.
You always missing something.
Yeah, you are, that's poverty. But if you got both,
Yeah, well,
you doing good.
I wasn't impoverished, but I was broke.
What you say? Every time we go to your crib, you ain't never got to the same damn thing. Never. Kool-Aid, no sugar.
Ham, no burger. Ham, no burger. That's crazy, man. But listen, man, that's some really, really powerful dialogue on the subject. It's hard to look outside of the circumstance. But folks, what we come here tonight to help you understand is that you are not your circumstance. You are simply in the midst of a changing and evolutionary process. And the process changing has a lot to do with how fast you accept the change. Right? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And what we have to realize is that we have great power as a human being, you are not just a standalone animal like a bear or a cow. You know, you are a human being. You have powers that you can draw that to you, which is necessary for your healing or for your edification or whatever. And we have to begin to understand that we can use these powers for good in our lives. When we misuse them, they work against us. And that's a big problem that's going on. People are misusing the power of consciousness, right? It takes positive consciousness to get you to a positive result. But if you misuse that positivity, then you're going to get back some unnecessary stuff. You're going to get back some troubles. And so people are misusing the law of attraction. They're misusing the secret. And
Misusing government.
yeah, government. That's a whole other. Oh my God!
I'm just
talking about
throwing that in there.
but you know,
Third pot.
But the Lord know what He doing. I ain't gonna never doubt His presence.
He know what he doing,
Yeah, the Lord know what He doing. No, He just a mortal man. He don't know what He doing. He think he know what He doing.
he know
exactly what he doing.
No,
He got y'all thinking you don't know.
Think He know what He doing.
No,
yeah, but
he
he got an agenda. Yeah, there's more certain.
Oh yeah,
agenda.
the phone want to go to prison.
Yeah, but listen.
This is
But listen, it will not prevail. I'm telling you. That's what we got to stand on as people. All we do is just sit over here and watch what happens. Basically, right? The vote doesn't happen, right? And so what power do we have? You know what? This is going to all work out for our favor. You see how I'm already going to the solution? I promise you, this is all going to work out for our favor. That He has upset the environment enough so that we can now take back. And when we take it back, it is never going to happen again. We are never going to have a knucklehead like him in the White House making decisions, showing out. You know, they're going to put new policy, a new procedure, a new things in place. I'm telling you, it's going to happen, bruh.
I disagree.
The Lord does not make mistakes, man. I'm trusting that this is going to work out for our good.
He said nothing slick to a can of oil. However, I disagree.
Yeah, you know, we're going to make it out of this all right. I promise you.
We're going to make it out all right.
That's my point.
As long as we have division as a people, it's bound to rear its ugly head again. Because think about it. We had Clinton. He balanced the budget.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bush. He messed the budget up. We had Obama, 8 years. He balanced the budget, got everything good, and it was just beautiful. Then you come back, you have Trump, which is a combination. No, I can't even say a combination. He worse than Nixon.
Okay, let's. I wanted to hear you out. Listen,
he's worse than Nixon.
I wanted to hear you out
because the thing is okay. We have Republicans. We have Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
We have Black Republicans. We have Black Democrats. Right? If we're gonna be on one accord, we have to be on one accord. And if we're not on one accord, and if you can't get someone making 6 figures and their parents were on welfare and they have an issue with it, that's a disconnect. Because if I'm making 6 figures and my parents and some of my family had to be on welfare, and I probably had to be on welfare at some point in time, I don't have a problem with me being taxed at a higher rate because I can afford it. However, you have these money-hungry people that are greedy, that even if they had family on it and they were on it, they still feel that, you know, because I work hard every day,
Watch this.
no one else should be able to benefit from welfare or government assistance.
Yeah, we hear you, and we would love to continue that conversation. It's down a little different path for us, but let me bring it back home. My question in all of that, and it is rhetorical. Okay, you don't have to answer it now. The rhetorical question is: do you think that we are doomed for hell? Because tonight we're talking about, you know, how do we keep our How do we keep the darkness from making us weak? Well, listen, I stand of the notion, just like in Egypt when Pharaoh had our people, the famine came upon the land and it did not touch the righteous. I live according to that. I'm not worried about what no man does. My mindset cannot control it. I cannot understand it. They lying. We don't know the truth. All we know is what happens to fall in our lap. We'll never know the truth. But God knows the truth, and he knows what he's doing. I believe it. I don't believe it's hopelessness. I believe that we can still hope for an outcome that is strong. That's the only power that I have in the subject. And let's come back to that, because we're talking about moving from darkness to being strong. We're talking about moving from darkness to being strong. Where's the faith at, even in this conversation? That's what I'm looking to hear.
Okay,
listen, you folks stay tuned. We're gonna play another nice groove for you, and we'll be right back with more smooth, or the more Bar Talk with Jay. There we go. Let me pause. Man. What's some intriguing dialogue, man?
Y'all too.
That's
I tell you, we're gonna wait till the 8 o'clock hour. We're gonna have that round 2 with y'all. I feel a little tension.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, but that's
No. Good stuff, man.
I got you. Y'all them on?
Good stuff.
All right, y'all. Well, I'll tell you what. This is the time to get nervous. You know why?
Why?
It's that dude that I don't know if his day was good or bad. But it seems like when it ain't good, it don't end well for us.
Okay.
So I'm curious how his day was. So I'm bringing y'all Jeffrey Miller. How you doing, big baby?
Brother Jay, what's the deal, sir?
Man, I can't call it. Well, how's your day at work, bruh?
Oh man, that's pretty good. Brother Kraft, how you doing over there, sir?
Man, I'm doing lovely, man.
Mm-hmm.
Doing lovely. Good to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you. How things going, bruh?
Man, it was a crisp breeze in the air. Everything was kind of pretty outside. Not too bad, not too hot, not too cold. But in spite of all of that, you know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Man, it is time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, listen, I got one reason for the habitually single woman and one reason for the habitually single man as to why you might be single. But before we get to that, here is my disclaimer. Now, see, what I'm going to talk about might not apply to you, and if it does apply to you, I don't want you to put your foot up in this shoe. But if it does apply to you, I want you to put both feet in both shoes and walk around in them, because you're going to learn something tonight. Now, ladies, you go first. Ladies, I'm going to tell you that some of y'all are single simply because you suffer from toxic femininity. Now, here's what I mean. You got the audacity to tell men what a real man should do. And I'm going to know how the hell you know. You don't even know your father. How about you sit your ass down and just let men do what men do and stop trying to do what men do. It seems now that women are spending so much time trying to prove they can be just as tough as a man, or just as strong as a man, or just as fast as a man, while they're forgetting to be women. I need you to understand something, ladies. Let us do what we gonna do over here on this side of the fence. And then you do the things that you were designed to do that we can't do in a way that just sets you completely apart and in a way that you honor and respect. But no, you needlessly trying to carry around testosterone. And real men got enough of that in the nutsack. We don't need you to bring none of that stuff around, because when you do, we gonna leave your ass single.
Jeffrey, I have one thing to say, man. You had a fucked up ass day at work. I don't know what happened at your job today. But you just slapped the taste out of a whole lot of people's mouths.
You sure did.
I'll tell you.
Sure did.
I was like, yo, you really frustrated. Boy, I don't know what you're gonna do to us men, but I'm just telling you,
yeah.
that went
Listen,
nice.
the point is so valid. You can't tell me what a man's supposed to be like if you've never been exposed to a man. You can't tell me what a woman's supposed to be like if you've never been exposed to a woman. Toxic femininity. right? Stop doing what a man do and do what women do. Let us handle ours. I think, one of the challenges that women might have on that equation is that there are a lot of men who don't know what men do. Right? And that could be a problem within itself. But
devil's advocate.
that is super powerful, Brother Jeffrey. Super powerful, man. I'll give it back to you.
All right, fellas, don't think I'm letting you off the hook. Fellas, you are next. Fellas, this is real simple. You suffer from real hardcore toxic masculinity. And really what it is just masking your deep down insecurity. Here's what I mean. You can go and attract the cutest woman, the finest woman, the most beautiful woman you can get, and she is all into you. And then the minute that you get her, your ass go crazy worried about how you gonna keep her because you knew from the beginning that she was above your pay grade. So instead of trying to build yourself up, you try to tear her down. You try to pull her down to a level where her confidence is gone, where her self-esteem has been beaten down. Where her own feelings about herself, she just begins to doubt because here you are trying to manipulate her to be someone that you can control. Now here's the thing, fellas, I need you to understand something. Ain't nobody got no time for that foolishness.
All right.
Whether you want to be in the gutter or you want to be at the top, you will always find a woman that will come down to your level. It doesn't matter where you are. There's a woman already at that level for you.
Right.
So don't go and get the woman at the top of the ladder just to pull her down to where you are. Because what you're doing is you're ruining for the good guys out there that can partner with that woman that can build something like that. So here's a tip right here. If you know you don't deserve that woman that sits up there and you know you can't sustain any more than 30 to 60 days worth of effort to keep her attention, just don't waste her time. How about you go build up who you are and get up on that level, and then once you attract that woman, you'll be able to build something with her. But in the meantime, these women, some smart women nowadays, they gonna see through that stuff that you're bringing,
Yes, sir.
and they can leave your insecure ass sink.
I'm gonna say it one more time, Jeffrey. You need another job, bro. I don't know where the hell you go every day.
Maybe a vacation.
But I'm
or
telling
something,
you,
right?
after this show right here, you just resign, bro. You ain't happy. I used to ask how your day went, but after the day, I quit. I ain't asked you shit. I'm done with it. Man, you just destroyed men, women. I don't know how you gonna bring us back together after that.
Listen, we got some new terminology.
Ready to quit.
Yeah, we got some new terminology. Toxic femininity and toxic masculinity. Toxic
fruity.
masculinity.
Whatever.
What some really powerful concepts. In the toxic masculinity thing, where you got a guy who attracts a woman and he not really ready for her. She's on a whole nother level. How she thinks about life, where she's going, where she's been, what she's done, and this guy, somehow or another ends up pulling her down, by talking down to her or disrespecting her or cheating on her, whatever the case may be. We know that happens, and for the most part, it's subconscious. He may not be trying to tear her down, but he's trying to, get on a level playing field. And maybe to get on a level playing field is to bring her down a little bit, bring her out of the sky, out of the clouds that she's in, and come down to the ground level with me, and let's talk real, and I tell you, in that, I won't say it that way. The point that he made is don't waste their time. If you realize that you're not on the same playing field, you realize that it's going to be difficult for you to keep up with this person, so to speak. It may be time to just move on, right? But don't waste the time,
I hear y'all. I'm gonna tell you like this. I can meet a person that makes way more than my pay grade. And again, my confidence level will match wherever she might be getting paid, because I don't chase money.
Right.
People pay for your power and your understanding.
There you go.
So my whole thing is, don't ever get it twisted just because the numbers don't match.
Right.
The equivalence of what I know and which we can build can be way greater.
Absolutely.
But if you want to just judge me by just what's in my account,
right,
you might have made better decisions or been handed down some things.
Yeah.
Don't judge everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why the little guys still sometimes win.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, we don't stop. We don't quit.
Right.
But we got to replay this game. Because I'm telling you, it's been stacked against us since day one.
Yeah.
We just waking up.
Right.
We trying to do it a different way. And that's what Bar Talk is all about. We trying to bring a conversation, and if it don't fit you, please understand. We walking where we want to be together. But again, everybody ain't going to walk together.
There you go.
But one thing I got to say real quick, because I got to let Jeffrey go. Jeffrey, you want to tie us together?
Man, this is real easy. I need everybody to
It's real
understand
simple.
something. If I said something tonight that didn't apply to you, don't stick your foot in that shoe.
Right.
If somebody tries to project something on you and it doesn't fit, don't buy into it. You ain't got to attend every argument you're invited to.
Right.
But what we men and what we women have to do is start to tune out some of that white noise, some of the distractions, and start to focus on what's really important. And what's really important is black men and black women talking to each other. Not talking at or through or around, but talking to each other to gain a better understanding. And once we do that, we'll see we got the same goals in common. We want our children to be happy and healthy. We want enough food to eat on our table. We want a place to have a decent roof over our head and clothes on our back. We all want the same thing. We just got to start pulling in the same direction. And when we start pulling in the same direction, we start rebuilding households. And when we rebuild households, we build a good temple for the children to grow up in.
Yes.
And when the children grow up healthy, they go out in the world and begin to build other households that expands the community. And once the community's back in place, our money's back in place. And once our money's back in place, well, that's going to be some powerful things going on right there. So I just want everybody to understand, yeah, I brought that home today. But it doesn't mean I don't want us to start talking to each other. And when we do, there's going to be some good changes coming around, and that's all I got.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
That's a mouthful.
He burned that around. Okay.
Yes, he did.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's in there. Next segment.
Yeah.
Calm down.
And I got so much to say on that, but I won't because I want to hear Jeffrey. We got a couple of minutes here, Brother Jeffrey. Tonight we are talking about, very simply put, how do we keep the darkness from making us weak and work toward becoming strong again?
Okay, well, the first thing is you don't run from the darkness. You embrace the darkness. Now, here's what I mean. I'm an artist, and one thing that I had to learn is how to draw hands. That was a weakness for me. There was no way for me to learn how to draw hands by drawing feet, because the way the bones are structured in the feet is completely opposed to the way they are structured in the hands. So I had to go and draw hands over and over and over and over again until it became a strength. So if there's something that's dark inside of you, the only way that's going to become light or enlightened is for you to walk into the darkness and turn on a damn flashlight or a candle or whatever. But you got the power to light any type of darkness that you face, because the darkness is the unknown. And the only way you're going to find out what it is to go right at it and face it and learn what it is, learn where it came from, learn what powers it, and then it's no longer darkness. It's light.
Absolutely.
It's education. It's knowledge. It's wisdom and experience. Because there is no wise person who didn't face some type of trial that they had to learn from. So when you learn from your darkness, not only do you become a stronger individual, but you become a teacher and a testimony for others.
Oh, yeah. Right there. Drop the mic. There you go.
That's a drop the mic for sure, man. That's a drop
They
the
might
mic
rehire
for
you,
sure.
Jeffrey. I ain't for sure.
And listen,
Still seem like an angry bear.
I just
What's going on at your job?
Seems like I ain't quit
Yeah,
yet.
Like an angry bear.
Yeah. I know what's going on with your job, buddy.
listen, just a couple of points on what Brother Jeffrey said. He said, embrace the darkness. That's powerful, right? Walk into it. Light a candle and put a flashlight on.
I say embrace the darkness. You put your ass in a dark ass room, close up in front of you, see what you embrace. You ready to pull a gun. Just embrace the dark. I just ain't throwing my ass in any old thing. Hugging on any old thing. Some stuff just, I can't do all that. But I feel you, because I understand what you're saying. It's a different one.
Well, I made this point a little while ago. Oftentimes, that the darkness that comes upon us is not about the thing itself. It's about the Lord building you and strengthening you and bringing you to a place where you can make decisions over and over and over again, where you can get to a place of comfort where you are, you can be confident in yourself through these particular situations. I don't think life ever really is about the things and stuff. I think the life is about building our spirit and building our inner strength. Nothing more than that. You know,
you changed the whole thing. We was having fun. You threw the Lord up. I gotta throw the Lord.
Because, man.
You killed all the fun. I'm having fun. You killed my whole vibe. Oh, really?
The Lord killed all my darkness.
He just killed my little
That's a testimony.
smile.
So, listen, we always are grateful for you, Brother Jeffrey, and you just so powerful, so enlightening. And any parting words for us tonight, my friend?
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I really didn't have no time to do this because I'm working on a project plan. I completely forgot I was on the radio tonight. So all that stuff came off the top of the head. And here's the thing. When you're really focused on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to expand, sometimes you even got to take no notes. You just let the Spirit guide you. And it's going to tell you what to say and what not to say. So I'm thankful that, I had an opportunity to share that with everybody there. And looking forward to doing it again next week.
You got it.
All right. And
Appreciate you, man.
we'll see you then,
All
man.
right,
Thank you so much, Brother Jeffrey.
All right,
All right,
DJ
thank you.
Crab,
Take
Mac,
care.
All right, folks.
you up? And we on next segment, but
Yeah.
we're gonna go to that break. We
on.
gotta do that break.
This is good stuff, man. I hope y'all folks are, getting some good stuff out of this. I hope it's building you in a certain way, and we're gonna continue this platform right after this song. We'll be right back.
It's gonna be on this round. Yes, sir. I got my boys gonna go at each other. It's round two.
Ain't no going at each other, man.
Yeah, man. This is a debate.
We
We
could
debate
be,
up in here.
we could be both.
We ain't all on the same side, player. Let's have some fun tonight.
We should be.
No, I'm saying so. Cause you got crazy.
Oh, thank you.
I know.
Right.
I told you, you compliment. I told you need help. Lord have
And
mercy.
he thanked him.
Sometimes you just gotta consider the source.
You know something? That was a person. Did anybody feel that knife? This is one of my favorites.
It
If
did.
y'all ain't see it going on. All right, it's gonna be one of them kind of shows. Okay. I think I said it's on, buddy.
It sounds like
Not working, buddy.
Ding ding.
sounds like y'all the one at odds, man. Not him and I. I think you two need
Hey man, I'll
to
tell you right now, you in the crossfire. Buddy.
the
You
dialogue.
sitting right here, you know how it goes. You about to get it.
Hey, you want to put it out there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just
This is what we
defending
do.
myself.
Mm-hmm. Defend yourself.
So watch this.
That's the best. You gonna come on?
Let's start this off with the quote for the night.
You ain't have a comeback.
This next segment, right?
Keep drinking. You don't need that shit tonight.
We got some bantering going on back
Ain't
here.
no damn
folks,
banter.
right? So the quote for the day says, and it lends itself to the subject. By the way, the topic tonight is how do we keep the darkness from making us weak?
How I keep my foot out your leg. It's gonna be a brand new segment. Yeah,
Hey, I feel some heat brewing up in the studio. You know what I'm saying?
You know what we here.
First one hit the sand out my hand, first the baddest one. First one hit the sand out my head.
Y'all already know.
All right, here
Get
we
this stick
go.
on my
I'm
shoulder.
drawing the line right now.
How do we keep the darkness from making us weak? From making us weak, and while at the same time trying to become strong again, right? The quote says, "I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me." Now, that quote is the psychological profile of somebody perhaps who have been through some troubles before.
Or a Christian.
perhaps a Christian
Oh, okay,
too,
sorry.
right? Yeah, and I ain't gonna ask him what's wrong with being a Christian. I don't know. I don't know.
You wanna ask
Like that was
him.
necessary.
You know, that wasn't
I'm not sure where he was going with
No,
that.
I'm
right?
just saying, you
That-
know.
that-
I mean,
You wanna
listen.
ask.
What it's suggesting here is that whether it's good times or bad times, I'm strong. Whether it's plenty or hunger, I'm strong. Whether it's abundance or need, I'm strong. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. What it's suggesting that I'm going to be a whole person regardless of my circumstance.
Right.
Regardless of what's going on around me. That is one of the ways to exit darkness, is to know who you are and know that you are always bigger than the problem. In fact, you should say to yourself, problem, I'm bigger than you. You cannot defeat me. You will not defeat me. I will conquer you. Having a mindset that the answers will come, having the mindset that I'm not troubled by the situations and circumstances, leaves you constantly in a state of peace, in a state of peace of mind. And that's what ultimately needs to happen in the midst of the darkness, is you have to maintain your peace of mind. You cannot get scatterbrained and start chasing, ideas or money or people or anything. You got to stand in the gap and be like, you know what, we're going to get through this. I'm going to be strong in the middle of the fire, just as strong as I would be standing on the mountaintop. And to have that mindset can free you from worry and fears and stress and doubt. All you're doing is clouding the air when you're in troubled times and you start worrying and fearing and doubting. It does nothing but add more heat to the fire. But if you can turn away from the fire and turn within and say, you know what, I'm a problem solver. I know I can solve these problems. That's one of the things that I used to do when I was just learning the law of attraction and the power of consciousness. I would put on a YouTube video of affirmations. Mm-hmm. And I would just listen to affirmations like over and over and over, and it would be like 100 or 500 in a set, and they would say things like, "I'm an excellent problem solver. I'm an excellent problem solver. I'm an excellent problem solver." And you just keep saying and you keep speaking those words and you keep knowing, and what happens is you become an excellent problem solver. Right? So even in the midst of the darkness, I'm telling myself that I'm going to solve this problem. I've already really moved to the solving of the problem in my mind and my spirit even before I start entertaining the potential solutions. Right? You can't have a problem and continue to stand in the problem and expect it to fix itself. It doesn't happen. We got to find a way to move out of those dark states of mind. And, I have a small list here that just may add credibility to the subject. We can do it. We can become strong again in the middle of the darkness through making clear decisions. Sometimes you're in a situation and what the situation really needs is a decision. Not just saying I'm going to do something. But really making the commitment that you're going to absolutely get that done, whatever that is. When you make a clear statement, a clear decision, it'll change your direction completely, right? It'll really start to reveal solutions in and of itself. You got to have faith, right? You got to hang on until the answer comes. You got to stay strong until the resolution reveals itself.
Just know that ain't easy.
It's not going to be easy by any means.
I want nobody lying to you. They lied in my ass.
You know what? It's not easy at first, but it becomes much easier over time. And
that's why it wasn't easy at first.
It's almost like a spiritual muscle that you have to strengthen, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's weak muscle.
And your spiritual muscle is like your rock. It's like your inner rock.
Crap.
Like I'm not
you know
moving.
you sitting next to Buddha over there, right?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just listening.
No,
I'm taking it in.
We want to hear from you, man.
But you next to Buddha.
Look,
So what you got to say about what I've already spoken?
to speak, I'll speak.
It's on you, man. I'd like to
Okay.
hear from you on a couple of things.
Well, anytime you go through any type of struggle, you're going to be in the midst of that struggle. One thing about fear, it's a false expectation of being real, because that's all it is. It's fear is an emotion, and if you let that emotion take control of you and take hold of you, that emotion will win. That's why you have people that are depressed and they have to seek counseling for their depression, because they have surrendered to the fear.
Okay.
They have surrendered. They've just given up and said that, hey, I have no more fight.
Okay.
I can't move forward. I can't push forward. And then at that point, they go to a therapist, and then they put them on some medication. Then they get hooked to the medication. Now they're not depressed anymore, but now they're drug
Yeah, right. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Because, and you know, I will. Okay, I'll ride with you on the spiritual muscle.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Oh, hell no. I ain't bring you on here for that. Oh, see this.
Because the thing
You gotta
is,
redo your contract.
the thing is, you have to be able to understand and know that someone else out there is greater than you, or something is out there greater than you. And if you give up, you've given up to. You have no ancestors. You have no help. You have no spirit. You are just flesh and blood and nothing more.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah,
now
listen.
you, oh my.
Man, I like where he was going. See,
I was too. As he said that later.
he was. If I can recall, where he was going down the path where, you know, you get to a point where you need help, a doctor or a psychiatrist or whatever, and then they give you medication, etc. Just before you get that help, if you could do one thing for yourself that would change the game, is when you get to the point where you're like, I have nothing, I am nobody, I can't get this done, they don't have vision. They can't see any further than they currently are. And all the psychologist is going to do is help you see further. The psychologist is going to open your mind, open your thought process so that you can see a little further. And if you could do that without necessarily going to get help, you know, we got to help ourselves. We got to learn to change our own minds.
Into the fear.
Yeah, but listen, the fear is nothing more than a thought process based on
false expectation appearing real.
But listen,
because you've given your circumstance all power.
but listen, in the midst of that is
Instead
all.
of knowing that
listen,
you are all power.
that is
over
all
every circumstance that
in
comes
your head.
way.
All of that's in your head,
Yeah.
right? And so,
Mind, body, and soul.
and so, I'm fearful of seeing this particular outcome. I can't change the outcome that I'm seeing in my head. That's the problem. The problem is I'm seeing the wrong outcome, right? I'm seeing the wrong outcome in my head. So I'm listening to fear, but fear is saying, I'm going to fall off that cliff, right? And you can't see any other way. The point is that you have to begin to see another way. No matter if the psychologist do it or the medication do it, if you don't see another way, you're not ever going to believe another way, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. You shouldn't have to get to a point where you need medication.
But you need mind control. That's the problem here. The problem is that people are wallowing in their minds in the midst of their problem rather than controlling their mind and moving to hope.
In any situation, I can always apply a G.I. Joe quote. Knowing is half the battle. Knowing is half the battle. Half of it.
Knowing what?
Just knowing.
Yeah, but
just knowing that you are creative.
You can't, and I understand what you're saying. I just want to get to a philosophical response to that. You can't just know. It's like love must love something. Love is not love until it loves something. You can't know. I gotta know that I am stronger. I gotta know that I'm bigger. I gotta know that I'm better. I gotta know that I'm a problem solver. I gotta know that I'm gonna get out of this. I gotta know. I can't just know. I gotta know something. Because
that's the first step.
But listen,
that's the first step. Knowing that you can do all things. Period. Point blank. You shouldn't have
That I
to
can do all
have,
things.
You shouldn't have to have a validation knowing that you can do it. You could just see something and be like, I can do that. Period, point
Yeah,
blank.
but that's not where the world is, particularly America.
No, it's-
People are sitting in their
No,
living room
it-
right now playing old tapes.
No,
they have no hope because they can't change their own mind sitting in their living
Yeah,
rooms.
but the thing is, if the only thing that you have is hope, you missed the boat anyway. You have to have more than hope.
But
You have to
let me
have
ask you-
drive.
let me ask you a
have
question.
to have a goal. You have to have something besides hope.
There you
because
go.
if the only thing you
There you
have is
go.
hope,
I like
you
that.
missed the boat.
I like that, and I always
You
like.
have missed the boat.
I don't want to get too philosophical, but
No, it's,
Our-
it's not.
all of our-
it's not
listen.
philosophical. It's just knowing who you are.
our
Period.
lives,
as a person, as a human being,
yeah, our lives
you
are
have
based
choice
on.
over anything that you do.
No, our lives are based on the promises that we depend on.
No, your life is based on the promises that you make for yourself.
The promises that you depend
Because
on, regardless of who make
no,
them.
no, no, no,
The
no.
promises. see-
Because any
That's voodoo.
any
That's voodoo.
situation that you have, any situation, it is up to you to make that outcome. No one else.
Well, no, but listen, you got to believe that you can make it happen.
Exactly. That's the first
So
step.
you're not going to go down there and take a real estate test to get a real estate license if you don't believe you can pass the real estate test.
Why wouldn't you?
That's my point, bruh, is that you got to
Why
have
wouldn't
some
you? But
mindset
the
change
thing is-
before you go and do those things. That's what's happening to
Prime
America. People
example.
can get better jobs, but they're afraid that they're going to get rejected, and so
Prime
rather
example.
than taking the chance that they're going to make it, they don't do it.
Prime example, you want to do something. You don't have to have the knowledge, but you want to know where you are because that's where you want to go. Take the test to see where you are. To see where you are without
Listen,
studying.
here's my question, and just to tie up this segment, because I really like this dialogue. My question to you is, again, somewhat rhetorical, is that the whole point of this show is that we want to enlighten people. We are trying to give people the answer. Many years of our study, many years of experience and reading other people's stories, we're trying to give people all the answers right now. My point is, can you teach what you're talking about? Because what we got to do now is we got to get people to elevate their minds. If they don't elevate their minds, they'll see no great return on their lives. And you know, I don't want to be argumentative, but everything has to come with elevating the mind first.
Okay, so let
And
me
you
ask
get nothing else to change if you don't elevate the consciousness of people.
Let me ask you a question. Do you consider yourself a professional at what you do?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm offering value and I know more than the people I'm trying to help.
No, that's not why you're a professional.
That's my answer.
The reason that you are a professional
Okay.
is because you can read it, you can write it, and you can teach it. That's the definition of a professional.
Okay?
If you can't read it, you can't write it, and you can't teach it, you can't say you're a professional.
Right. Listen, that's a side subject. Answer the question if you can teach it to these people.
I mean,
Right?
first of all,
I'm asking you to give something to them that's going to just dramatically take them out of darkness into the light.
read.
That's good stuff. Let's take a break right there. Let's take a break right there. I like that. I like that. Because the point of this whole show, man, is that people grow, and he just said something quite profound. No new ideas in, no new ideas out. Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna be right back with more of our Talk Show.
Hold on. Y'all don't understand what happened during the break. So guess what? I ain't got no code or street up in here. This
Yeah.
part y'all was there. Listen,
This is good stuff,
I'm
man.
snitching.
This is
I'm
good stuff.
snitching, and we're about to tell it. Y'all had a great debate, and we're about to bring it to the air.
Yeah.
Now, to some people on the street, be like, you snitching. You right. Because if you do something that's going to cause me to go to jail for a felony, you should have brought my ass
you
in the
talking
first
about,
place.
man?
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I ain't doing it.
What is you
I'm
talking
trying to rechange the game. Sing it. Sing it like a canary.
I think Uncle Phil, Dr. Phil, Brother Phil, really gave
Feel about to get serious.
an example of what we are talking about here that happens throughout our lives. And why don't you just share that? Share the story that you was talking about, the
Well,
elephant.
basically, it's just like an elephant, the baby elephant.
Speak closer to me.
It's like the baby elephant. You have a baby elephant that you put this really big chain on, and that the elephant tries to break away. And that elephant trying to break away is hope. He has no hope. Everything is lost because he realized that he can't break away or she can't break away. So what you're doing at that point, psychologically, you're breaking that elephant down.
Right.
And the same thing that you do to humans. Psychologically, you break them down until that elephant is a full-grown elephant and you have them on a small rope. And at any point in time, if that elephant realizes who and what they are, they can snap that rope. But due to the fact that you've broken that elephant down and that person down psychologically, years and years and days, they refuse to fight.
Right.
They refuse to break free
Right.
because
Right.
they have no hope.
Right.
They don't know who they are.
Right. And let's bring this full circle.
Wow.
So we all get beat up in life by problems and darkness and situations and circumstances, right? So here's the thing that I'm saying is that elephant is probably not going to ever even try. But if that elephant spent one evening with me, that whether he knew how strong he was or not, he just gonna be like, I'm just gonna snatch this damn rope and see what happens. He doesn't know it. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't trust it. He's gonna just blindly just snatch it. I'm gonna talk him into just snatching it. And once he does, he'll see his power. Now, here's the
I wouldn't
essence.
advise you to do it with an elephant.
I wouldn't
You'd be
either.
in trouble.
I wouldn't either, right?
If he swing his trunk and
Hey, listen.
go, man.
Hey, listen.
He'll slap you until tomorrow.
Or an abused wife. Right? Hey, listen, you better not get the wrong woman in that chair either. You're gonna be in some serious trouble, right? So here's the point that I'm attempting to make: that people will make changes in the darkness or not, based upon their attitude or based upon their behavior. You're going to make change in your life based on your attitude or your behavior. And let me give you an example. My famous example, my pops used to be a big one about keeping the garage clean. So he said, Junior, get the garage clean. And I'm grumbling and bumbling like, I really don't want to clean up this garage. Come on, man. I got a bad attitude about it, right? But because I got pressure on me to get it done, that I go out there and I start getting it done. And about an hour later, I'm lost in my work, getting it done. I wake up out of that daze that I'm in, and I say, wow, this thing is coming together pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, my attitude is being changed by my behavior. I would not have changed my attitude if I didn't just jump in, make progress, and see how well I did. So we cannot allow our attitude to determine what we do. We can't allow our emotional baggage, our hurts and our pains and our fears and our doubts, we cannot allow it. I'm saying go get it done. Take one step at a time. And once you see how that step works out, then you might believe in yourself a little more. You'll take another step. But you are not going to conquer belief systems, 30, 40, 50 years of belief systems by telling people to just believe in yourself. It's not going to happen that way. And that was the point of me asking you, can you teach it? Because people are not going to just develop a conquering spirit overnight. They're going to develop a conquering spirit by marveling and reveling in the things that they accomplished based on taking faith-based actions.
I disagree.
Hold on, man.
Come on,
First, you disagree, but one of the things that you got to say, Crab, you got to look at it. And I hear you, and I totally agree on a lot of things you said. But you got to remember, it's kind of complex. But I'm going to let Phil Because he want to debate you, and I want
He
y'all to
wanna
have
debate
fun.
me.
No.
Because I don't really feel
I
like
make it
it's
perfect
far
sense,
off.
man. Yeah.
Oh no, I never take nothing from
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just I already know. You messing with Buddha. I keep telling you. You messing with Buddha has no religion. Buddha different. Now I told you. Now he's special.
Right.
But go ahead, Buddha. I ain't gonna take your thunder, player.
No, it's not about taking thunder. It's just that I disagree because you can, and it's been proven that you can do so because of the religion that we've been fed.
That you could do what? Let me make sure I understand.
That you can actually change someone with a history. Because think about it.
You can.
Because think
Absolutely,
about it.
you can.
The religion that you have is by you inheriting that religion. It's not because you decided to say, hey, this doesn't make sense to me, so I'm going to look elsewhere.
You just receive what was given to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because you did not want to disrespect what was already given by your parents.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you, the hardest conversation that I ever had in my life is telling my mother and father that I wasn't a Christian anymore.
Okay.
Is because I decided to step up to the plate and be like, you know, I understand what you're saying, but for me, it doesn't make sense. Now, for you, what your parents and your parents' parents gave you works for you.
Right.
But for me, it's not working for me.
Right.
So I have to make that conscious decision and do what works for me.
Okay. Okay. And listen, I think a great point to talk about in that is that you decided to do something different based on your own belief system, right?
Yeah.
And I guess nobody will ever really go back and assess, but what you turned away from was the closest people to you's most valued system.
No, I did not.
You turned away
No,
from
no, I
their
did
most
not.
valued system.
No. I turned
The
away.
proven system.
No. How can you say it's proven system?
That's what they live by.
No.
It's proven to them.
It's proven only because that's what your ancestors and your ancestors' ancestors have been fed. That's the reason that it's proven to you.
Okay.
Now, with me, what I'm doing is proven to me.
Okay. Taking a leap.
Because it's not taking a leap. It's making a conscious decision
Okay.
to decide that what you have instilled in me has allowed me and gave me the veracity to make this decision myself, and knowing that what you have instilled in me, I can stand strong in this belief.
Okay.
Because of what you have given me.
Okay. Okay.
So
I like that.
It-
I like
it-
that.
it's, you have to be able to take a step.
But listen, I'm not
And-
psychoanalyzing you,
Yes, you are.
but you're rebellious.
No, I'm not. no,
You can't see it, but everybody around you can see it.
No.
Right?
Sound like
Right.
right.
Listen,
Right.
that's who you
I'm gonna
are.
treat both y'all like a hostile witness in a minute
I'm
now.
listening.
Everything that you know is what you have received from your parents in regards to religion.
Okay.
You decided that the inheritance that my mother and father has instilled in me in regards to the religious fact, I will not sway. Knowing that you can research, read, and get proof that before we came over, Christianity was not our religion.
Right. And listen, we don't want to make this a religious show, but watch this.
Sound like y'all did it already. I don't know where the hell you been this whole show.
Listen,
Well,
I did exactly the same thing. My parents brought me up, my grandmother brought me up in the church. That's what you do. You go to church, you study that word. This is the word. It is meaty and it's good and it teaches and it's lesson. I got all that. When I got grown, I adopted a new belief system.
Mhm.
And I practiced that belief system for about 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
I thought it was the answer until I reached my low.
Okay.
And when I reached my low, I could see what my grandmother was trying to teach me when I was a little boy. And so I came back to the truth. I came back to what is now the greatest truth for me, right? I came back to what was the greatest truth for them. And if I had listened, I may have saved myself many years of problems, many years of challenges. But not that I wasn't willing to listen, I just got exposed to some other ideas that sounded more valuable. And so I got led astray by the unknown when somebody is telling me this is the known. Now listen, somebody ain't gonna practice something 20, 30 years if they don't think it works. It'll just fade into the background and they won't practice it.
Why would
They might say they practice it, but they really don't.
What do you think a code is?
We're not talking about extreme religions. We're talking about we're talking about just faith. We're talking about Pentecostal and
you said
Judaism. You're talking
someone
about
would
some other
not
stuff.
practice anything 30, 40 years
If they don't believe in it.
if they don't believe it.
They might know of it, they might have grown up in it, but they don't practice it. They don't live it. They don't.
No,
they don't follow the principles. They don't do what the religion says
Keep
to
on
do.
messing with Buddha.
People do it all day, every day.
You're just being argumentative right
No,
now.
you have Christians that are only Christians on Sunday.
But listen, they ain't Christians on Sunday. They just
Gunfire.
go to church.
That's what I'm saying. But
Don't talk to me about the facade of people.
No, but
We're talking about
it's
making
the tradition.
Y'all throwing bombs.
They follow
I'm
the
there
tradition.
Wednesday and
But
I'm
listen,
there.
why-
I'm there
and a lot of
Sunday.
them are there just to save face. A lot
But
of them
they're
there for
40
show and
years
tell.
old, so they've been practicing it.
But-
They've been practicing the same ritual and the same routine. Wednesday and Thursday, on Bible study, I'm there.
But they there, but they ain't practicing it, bruh.
How you gonna
they're
tell-
just playing the game.
How you gonna say? Isn't that part?
It's
of
like going to
practicing?
the meeting and not taking notes.
Isn't that part of practice?
No, that's not.
How you figure that?
That's a fallacy.
When the first thing you get on the job, somebody tell you, "Hey, you better fake it till you make it." Come on, crap. We gonna speak truth. We gonna speak truth.
I'm not sure what we're talking about right
Hey,
now.
what you mean you? Come on now.
I'm not sure what we're talking about right now.
What you mean we not sure? That's why I said read. You read, you make your own decision.
So what would you?
Because you're
so,
informed at that point.
So what would you tell? As you summarize this point, what would you tell the world? We got a worldwide audience listening to us. You would tell them what tonight? The takeaway from your dialogue.
The captain of your faith and the master of your soul.
That's
That's
a
what I
cliche.
said.
Look at him.
It's not a cliche. It's the truth. Just like we did
And-
in the break.
Yeah,
Eric
everybody's
Krause was talking about.
Everybody listening.
We was talking about Edgar Allan Poe, the poem Invictus, and we were talking about on a scale from 1 to 10. Most people are probably at 2 or 3 because they don't want to read. Because once you start reading, you start to get exposed, and a lot of people don't want to be exposed because of fear. Because once you start to get the knowledge and you start to get the truth, some people shun away from it. They get afraid. Because if I'm telling you that you can be here in 5 years, this is the module that you have to follow, and you have to follow it, I may be afraid of my own success, and I decide to deviate from that module.
Right.
You have to take the bull by its horns and ride it, because if you don't, you're gonna be left.
And listen, I completely understand that, man. The question that, and I'm not taking anything away from it. The question that I always have is, how do we help them get that? And
They have to want to be helped.
of course, they want to be helped. Come on, man.
How you figure that?
They want to go to the next level. They're just afraid of it.
Some people, no.
I can't think.
No.
Listen. Don't allow
Crap.
shallow thinking.
Crap. It's not shallow thinking.
Don't allow their
It's
shallow
it's
thinking
realistic
to put them
thinking.
in a place where they don't want better
Look,
for themselves.
you-
You gotta believe that mankind wants better for
Some
itself.
people are just content where they are.
Those are
and
just
don't
learned
want-
behaviors. Those are just too many failures, and I don't want to try again. That's all that
not
is.
necessarily.
God did not put that spirit in them. When he
Not
planted that
necessarily.
flower, he wanted that flower to grow from the root all the way up to the sun. That's what he wanted.
it to.
Every single one of them. But they got stifled. They got disease. They got trouble. They got problem, and then they wither.
That's why you have the
But it
ecosystem.
ain't that they can't.
Yes,
ain't-
it is.
It ain't that they
That's
can't.
why you have the ecosystem. Everything is put here for a reason. You can't tell me that a bear is going to be a wolf. No.
He doesn't want to be a wolf.
Exactly.
He wants to be
so
a big
you can't
bear.
Tell me
a bear
you
doesn't
can't
want to
tell-
be big.
You can't tell me that Pookie over here getting his little hustle on, grinding. That's all he want to do. Pookie don't want to go nowhere else.
Nah.
Pookie good in the hood.
Nah, if Pookie could get just an envision that he could do more, he would reach for it.
All he had to do
he
is just
can't.
pay attention in school and he would know. But guess what?
All he gotta do, you make it sound so simple, man.
It is simple.
Listen, well, why isn't it happening? Why is humanity struggling with apathy and laziness and fears and
Because
doubts?
everyone has their purpose. You always gonna need somebody to cut your grass. Now, granted, just because he cutting the grass, maybe that's what he wants to do. And guess what? He's comfortable cutting the grass because he's perfected it.
But maybe
that's his craft.
But his
and
real
he's
potential,
a businessman.
his
now.
real potential was to own several grass cutting companies.
That's the point I'm
But
making.
he got lost at step one.
But-
He simply got lost.
Okay,
It
so
wasn't that he didn't want more. It's that he got lost.
That
and he
means
couldn't couldn't see any further.
That means he's content in his situation.
No, he's not content. He's
How you
just
figure that if he's
just
not
there.
trying to move outside the situation?
You don't have empathy for ill people.
No, I have empathy and sympathy. I'm just a realist.
No, I'm not
Because
hearing-
if
I'm
you
not
don't
hearing it.
have the drive and the structure, if you don't have the drive and the structure to get where you say you want to be, it's
Hey,
your
listen.
downfall.
I say-
no one else's
Hey,
downfall.
we gotta go to break.
Yeah,
we gotta go to break. But what I tell y'all, what y'all doing right now, this dialogue is great.
Great dialogue.
And
yes.
one of the things I want y'all to understand, it is what I want y'all to hear.
You gonna
A
learn.
difference of opinion. This show is not about agreeing. It's about having a positive debate. And again, if you don't share the same views, we understand.
Yeah.
Debate it after the show. Matter of fact, in this next break. Because the whole thing is if you don't change your mindset, you'll continue what you're doing. Y'all ain't understanding these debates going on tonight. Y'all too, boy. You got Christians against Buddha tonight. I said, boy, you don't know how to rub up on this right here.
Right.
But it's on.
You know,
Y'all trying to find y'all. We're trying to get everybody back happy.
Yeah, I am.
Lord.
I am very passionate about the development of people, and I guess that's why the Lord put me in training and development many years ago. And I've sat in front of audiences, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of audiences, delivering messages that inspire and enlighten people. I spent years in the training and development business, and I saw so many people make changes in their hearts and in their minds. I saw so many people make changes in their behaviors. And the mental part of it and the behavioral part of it is what makes all the difference. Changing your mind and changing your behavior. Until you get to a point where you're willing to just take some chances, you're not going to be in a place to move out of the darkness toward the light.
Changes as well.
Huh?
Changes as well.
Make some changes, yeah. Changes.
Chances and change.
Chances and changes. It just requires, in the midst of darkness, it requires a new you in order to escape the darkness. Right?
Doesn't have to be in the dark. It could be in the light as well.
It could be in the light as well. That's a great point. Sometimes things are just going well, and it's kind of mundane. You're not really growing. You're not in a bad place, but you're not moving. You're not growing. You're not elevating. And that's what we are here for. Why do you think every tree ever born is always reaching for the sun? For all its life, it reaches toward the sun. And it reaches until there's no more life left in it. That's what it's supposed to do. And we humans get sometimes we just kind of get, I don't know, brought down so much by our own thinking that we don't even want to face the sunlight.
Well, you gotta think about it. What'd you just say? Down. Down is not facing sun.
Down is not facing the sun.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's
We took our eye off the prize, remember?
right.
And a lot of times depression comes when you take the eye off the prize. Y'all say how you find your way out. You lost track of what your path was. When you get off path and you start going down dark roads, you scared of what you might turn into. Because the path I knew, I'm no longer on.
Yeah, I like that.
So a lot of times we get confident in where we was going. So confident, you start realizing you was totally off path.
yeah,
And now remember that strength you had?
yeah,
It becomes your fear. And that's what this show's about. It's your darkness. Because a lot of times you're going through so much and you're feeling so good, but you realize you're still off path. That's what we need to be talking about, because that's the fear that's going to change you. It's like, oh, so your confidence level left you. With all these things, that's what's changing you for the negative. Needs to empower you back to the positive, where
yeah,
I can come off path, but I can see my way back too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what
But instead of worrying about what tree I'm going to hit, because off path don't mean I'm totally blind, but just understand it's a valuable thing I'm trying to say.
yeah, what I heard you say is one of the things that I really like is you said basically, don't get down.
Yes.
Don't allow yourself to get down. No matter what's going on, you gotta keep a fighting spirit. You gotta keep I know I'm gonna get through this spirit. You gotta continue to change your mind on your situation, and you gotta keep telling yourself it's gonna get better. Those dark emotions don't take you down a positive path, right? When
Right.
you're feeling lonely, or you're feeling like a failure, or you're feeling depleted, you know, you got to find a way to jump out of that emotional state and do something else. And if nothing more than turn on your favorite TV show and laugh a little bit, or put on some comedy and laugh a little bit. You got to break the cycle. Don't sit there and wallow in those sad, challenging emotions, because all they're going to do is keep you in the darkness.
3 things that you can always count on.
What's that?
Always. Never change. You can always count on death.
Mm-hmm.
You can always count on taxes. And you can always count on change.
Right.
Those 3 things are unwavering.
Right.
I don't care what you do.
Right.
Death, taxes, and change will always happen.
Yeah.
And once you realize that death, taxes, and change will always happen, that's when you start to change and open your mindset.
Mm.
You know.
Come on, Kraft, I got something for you. Come on.
My concern with that is you don't want people in the darkness contemplating death.
Death is not a bad thing.
You don't.
Hold on,
you
hold on,
You don't.
hold on,
want,
Buddha.
you don't want.
Hold on,
You
Buddha.
gotta make sure
Hold
you
on,
explain
hold on.
what you're saying now, because
That-
it
that-
sounds kind of crazy a little
Death is
bit.
not a bad thing.
I told you.
That's a part of your journey.
You mean failure? Death like is in failure.
No, it can be a physical death as well.
Well, no. We listen. No, we don't want to be
No,
talking
no,
about.
no,
That's not
no,
the message we
no,
want
no,
to send
no,
here.
no.
Now we talking about.
No, listen, hear me out. I can take it back to the Christian. If you want to take it back to the Christian aspect, right?
Right.
You spiritual, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when you, as a Christian, and this is your belief system, that once you expire, you go into the pearly gates, right?
Right.
Okay, so why would that be a bad thing?
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing,
Oh, okay, I was just checking.
but that ain't what we want.
No, I'm not saying that's what we want. I'm saying
Well, then why
that's
we
what
talking
you.
about it?
I'm saying that's what you can count on. You will always die. You will always have taxes as long as you are living, and as long as you are living,
But-
things will change. Whether you want them to change for the better or either for the worse, it's going to.
I like that
change.
one better. I like change better than contemplating we can count on death and taxes. I'm okay with that.
Get away from it.
We're trying to inspire people, right? Right? We're trying to
Okay,
inspire people.
and inspiring someone, you have to change your mindset.
Right.
You have to be able to open your pineal gland.
Right.
You have to be able to take that first step to understand and not look at it as darkness. Come on, Kraft.
Okay.
I think he's through a knife.
No,
Man, you're bleeding.
No, I would agree
telling
with
you.
that. I would agree with that. Listen,
Man.
I got the shield of faith on. I'm not.
I mean, you ain't gonna die.
concerned
That kind of day.
You know what I'm saying? The enemy gets
I ain't no
the
more
arrows,
do you like that.
the arrows which he sends
Really?
out, it shall come back to him.
Oh, you had that little blow gun.
tenfold.
You had that little blow gun.
Not good.
We talk about liberation, not death right now.
You
know
talking
what I'm
about
saying?
killelation.
You know, we don't want people who are in bad situations and in troubles and in pain and darkness to be really
That's why
thinking
you
about
have to
that they
listen
can
and
they can
read.
count on death. You know what I'm saying?
That's why you have to listen and read.
Yeah.
Because regardless if you getting it from an Edgar Allan Poe, or either if you taking it from the basic instructions of before leaving Earth, where you taking it from the Bible, you can take it from the Quran.
Mhm.
It doesn't make a difference. You have to be able to open your eyes, and I'm not talking about the two that you can see.
Your inner eye, right?
You have to be able.
Because that's the only thing that's going to give you hope.
You have to be. No, it's not hope.
It's hope.
It's resolve.
Hope,
And hope is
man.
not resolve. Resolve is not hope. Those two are not
They're
interchangeable.
synonymous with one another.
No, they're
you,
not.
You tell the average person about it, you just
Because
want to
they
argue with
didn't
me right
read.
now, right? Whether it's hope,
Because
or
they didn't read.
salvation.
Hey, somebody read that shit. That's all he keeps saying over there. Buddha, man.
I'm not-
Buddha, what you doing during
It's
break, man?
not-
Yeah, he needs
It's not like people going through
I'm telling
darkness
you,
need
you
to go
need
and
to
kill
get-
themselves.
You
man.
need to get his ass a Snicker. He started. Marshall. He is not acting like himself tonight. Oh, Buddha, calm down.
We want to inspire
You want a
people.
Snicker?
Tonight. We got 4 minutes
That's the whole
before we
point.
get out of here. Why don't you share with us a 1 minute close?
1 minute close. As a 1 minute close, the first thing that I would like each and everyone listening is to take a step outside of the box and read Invictus. Because if you are in dark or in darkness, if you can understand and comprehend what he is stating, it will be that much easier for you to get out of the situation that you are in.
Okay?
Man,
I like that.
When I
And
tell you,
Invictus is
I
powerful.
was gonna give him. I was gonna say something. I'm not. Because what I really liked about that is what I'm really thinking about that. If you want, he not just gave you something to think about. I really want you to understand. He's speaking in a language I want to make sure it hits you in the soul about understanding of a reading of a book that can help you through a darkness. Because a lot of y'all are going through things that I don't know nothing about. But it's not too many people that's willing to come on the show and give you a guideline and give you a book to actually go to. Because we don't know your darkness, but you can go ahead and you can read up on it and it will help you through.
Right.
It was real clear to me what he was saying. But again, I know. And I know it's dialogue. But I need you guys to know how powerful Phil is. And again, to listen. Because he's giving you a great nugget to get you over a hurdle that I don't know you in.
There you go.
And that's what we do here.
Yeah.
So I want to definitely leave it to you. Go ahead and close it up because, you know, hospitality.
Yeah.
But I had to throw that in there because he gave me an alley-oop. Feel
Okay.
good.
Yeah. he did.
And I gotta
He
take
did.
it.
He did. One of the things I mentioned earlier, I'm just real passionate about the development of people and people's spirits. I don't think there's any one person, maybe there's a couple organizations here or there, that really is charged with the development of the character and the internal person of mankind. That nobody's trying to develop the spirit of mankind, whether it be to put character and values, whether it be to liberate you to go and start businesses and inspire you to be your greatest possibility. It just doesn't seem nobody's feeding our spirits unless you're in a religious context. There's some people who get fed in colleges and universities, etc. But who's pouring into our spirits is what I really wanted to do with this show tonight, is to kind of pour in your spirit. That if you are willing to move forward, darkness is temporary. It will not stay if you are willing to move forward. And that means you're willing to think about tomorrow. You're willing to keep your mind positive. You're willing to get out of your box and do something a little different than you've done. If nothing more than read, if nothing more than ask for help, that you cannot allow yourself to stand and to be comfortable in a dark place. And that may mean, we talk a lot about firing people from your life. We talked a lot about just making yourself a little more focused and holding yourself a little more accountable in life. You really got to find a way to get out of your own way when you're in the darkness, because ultimately it's you that's keeping you there if you stay there for any period of time. You can change your situation. You do have the ability to make a difference. You in some cases you may be a victim, but most importantly you need to call yourself the victor. That you're going to have victory in this situation. I will stand in victory over this situation. I will defeat this problem. I will be bigger in it. I will solve it. I'll heal it. Until you get to the place where you are moving away from the problem, you're going to always be standing in it. So your mind is the key to the equation. Keep your mind fresh, keep your mind new, keep your mind centered, whether it be affirmations, visualizations, whether it be prayer, whether it be reading books and articles. Sometimes it could be watching movies, but keep your mind fresh, because all of those stories that we perceive from the outside, we get to see life from the big picture. When you're not involved in the problem, but you can see how other people managed it, you'll grow and you'll find yourself managing it in a way in your life that will get you through it and on to the greatness, the great days that are to come. Having hope for tomorrow is the key to overcoming darkness. If there's no hope, you're going to stand in that darkness, and it's going to keep you down. So just know that you are already victorious people, and all you got to do is put your mind to it. You can't really put your actions to it yet, but if you put your mind to it, it'll build up enough action for you to start taking some steps to get out of that situation.
Powerfully enough said, but again, it's the mental and it's choice.
It's mental and choice. That's absolutely right, Jay.
And them the two that's going to tie tonight, and I hope y'all understand exactly what on. We had a great platform of Buddha and Christianity over here. And going toe to toe. I don't know which one y'all is going to go with. Me, myself, and I was wavering. There was balleting over there. Phil had a couple good ones, Ben Craft. So again, if y'all missed the show, y'all don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I need to go back and catch from the beginning, because I'm telling you, these two are giving you guys some different ways to look at all kinds of different issues and problems. Your darkness is going to be yours. You got to own it.
You got to own it.
Until you own up, you still looking down.
Yeah.
The minute you own up, you start looking up. The bottom line, it starts from what you understand. We just want you to understand we care for you, we love you, and the bottom line, it's up to you. Bar Talk with Jay, that's what we do. And we out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.